We're now recording. So welcome everybody. You've joined us for the creating a plugin with unit tests in under 45 minutes. So hopefully you're all in the correct session. Obviously, if you need to switch sessions, that's absolutely fine. Just leave us and pop up to the other one. But hopefully you all stay with us. We've got Daryl Labar here to present to you. And obviously, as he said, if there's any questions, stick them in the chat. I'll try and moderate them and pop in if it's something that we need to cover, or we'll leave it till the end if you've got questions after. So thank you, Daryl.
All right. So I'll let you go through and read this little speaker profile while I talk here. So yeah, the whole idea of this is to show you, I'm trying to show you how I do stuff, but not because I think I'm awesome, but I think just to show you how you could maybe simplify some of the things that you're doing, or try to show you some of the tools that are available that maybe you aren't using. So yeah, so this is me basically saying, hey, after nearly a decade of writing plugins, this is how I do it. And feel free to copy it, or feel free to show me something better. So we can both learn in that aspect. But yeah, so hopefully it's something that you find interesting. The one thing I do need from the audience is I need an idea of a plugin to write. But if you don't come up with one, I've got one in the can. So yeah, think of a something you'd like it to do. Ideally, it has to work off of the out-of-the-box entities or fields and stuff like that. I'm sorry, tables and columns. Now that we've switched things in the Dataverse name, we'll see how that goes. But yes, so if you have an idea for that, please think of one. This is my really one and only slide. So these are the actual tools that I'll be using outside of Visual Studio. That's the Visual Studio Solution Accelerator in the XRM Toolbox. Generator, I'll be using a NuGet package, dlib.xrm.source. I'll be using XRM unit tests for doing the unit testing. And finally, I will be most likely using LinkPad if we have any fake any entities we need to actually create for our unit tests. So I'll be using LinkPad to simplify the process of defining some GUIDs for that. So that's what I'm using. And that's my final slide. So this is the questions. Whether I get to this at the end, I don't know, but this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out or follow me on any of these social platforms. And if it is on LinkedIn, please add a note. Hey, I saw your session at the D365 UG event, and yeah, just want to connect. If you don't add a message, I will message you and ask, how do you know me? Just so I can know how are people finding out about me and know where to invest my time and my efforts. So I'm going to give another 10 seconds here to see if anybody wants to either unmute and tell me a plugin they'd like to see written, or if they want to write one in the chat. If I don't see one, I'm going to go with what I've got as an idea in the can. Not that it's a good one, but it is one. So yeah.
I had one idea. I don't know if it's a good candidate for this. I haven't really thought it through. It literally just came into my head. Someone opens an account record and somehow they get told if the customer's got overdue cases. I don't know. Maybe there are other ways of dealing with that.
Open the account record and they're told, okay, so, but that's like a message showing up in the client
Yeah,
side.
it is, isn't it? That's not very good. No. Yeah. All right. Better go back to your example.
No, I mean, you could create a action to do that, and then you'd have to wire that up on the client side to go do that stuff. So yeah, but at that point, you might as well just hit the API directly rather than doing an action. So all right.
Not to worry. Perhaps someone else got something.
Appreciate the thought. How about a company name? We had Pied Piper as a company name, which apparently is from Silicon Valley, which I don't watch, and I don't know if I can spell Pied Piper. I don't know if I can spell Pied right. So official company name, Pied Piper. All right. So unless anybody else has a better fictional name, we're going to go with Pied Piper. The plugin I thought of creating, since we are in this lovely COVID world, and actually the person that's buying my house today has got a positive test of COVID on, I think, Monday or Sunday or something like that. So I'm having to delay our signing because they had to do power of attorney and have their mother sign for them, and yeah, it's kind of fun. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is each time you touch a contact record, it's going to give a percentage chance of that contact contracting COVID. And so we're going to have a COVID field that I've added. I know it's not out of the box, but I added a field that says, hey, has COVID. And we're going to go through the process of just randomly giving contacts COVID. Why would you do that? I don't know, but hey, it meets some of the criteria that I wanted, and we'll try Pied Piper as the company name here. So let's get started. We've already spent 5 minutes. I'm not going to say wasted because it was very useful, but we'll do 5 minutes. So the first tool I'm going to show off here is the Visual Studio Solution Accelerator. It is in the XRM Toolbox, and this is basically me writing a tool so that when I go to a new client, I don't have to start from scratch all the time. I can simplify things and make things a lot faster and easier, and hopefully people find it useful as well. So there's a couple options here. You can add your accelerator isolation libraries, which is like basically how I format my Visual Studio solution to your solution, or you can just add an additional plugin and workflow, or you can install the snippets. So yeah, feel free to ask more questions about these later. Don't have a whole lot of time to go into that, but I'll start with the first one because I want to add them to a solution. I don't have a solution yet, so I'm actually will create one for us. So has a little wizard here to walk through. Do you want to add them to the existing solution? No, because I don't have one. So this is say, all right, where do you want to actually add this to? So I'm going to add the solution to and temp, and then let's see, we wanted the company name here. Pied Piper slash so Pied Piper XRM. All right. So that's going to be our solution name. You obviously do whatever sort of naming conventions you want. We can even change it to CDS if we want, but we'll just leave it at XRM. So what's the root namespace? This is the namespace that everything could kind of sit in. Mostly this is the early bound entities if we're using that, which I will plan to do because I'm a very big early bound person. If for some reason you happen to be using an older version or on-prem version, you can select what version of the SDK you want to reference. And then, yes, I do want to use early bound entities. So I'm going to say yes to that. Then this is a shared assembly that's going to be used for anything I want to share among all my plugins. So what namespace do I want for that? Same thing for workflows. If we have a workflow, do I want to use XRM unit testing? I do. And then what name do I want some of the projects that I use in that as well? Unless you know something better, you probably would just keep that as a default. So I'm going to go from there. I want to create a plugin project. Yes, this is the name of my plugin, Pied Piper XRM.plugin. Great. I don't need any example plugin classes today, so I'm going to skip that. But that will give you some example plugins. So if you run through the tool and you include the examples, you include the early bound, and you include the testing, it will have all that set up for you, and you can start running unit tests right away when the tool is done. All right. For my test projects, I always add a .tests to the end of it. So you can use whatever naming convention you want, but that's there. I don't need to create a workflow project, so I'm going to say no to that one. And then this is installing snippets, and it's just a way to make things a little bit faster when you're doing some development. So I'll actually walk through those snippets when I go through and do that. But these are Visual Studio C# snippets that it's going to install as well. And I click Finish, and this thing goes through and spits out basically everything I've configured it to. So I've gone through the whole thing. It's created all my packages. It's going to NuGet now and actually getting the stuff and downloading it. When it's done, I will be able to open up my Visual Studio solution that it created, and I'll be able to work on this. So if you're a consultant and you're walking onto a new project and you want to have everything set up, you don't have a solution created, it's brand new, boom, great tool to go through and do all that for you. All right. This final thing says, hey, please refer to instructions in the text box for generating your early bound entities. So because I've selected early bound entities, it's configured the file for it, and I just need to actually update it. So I'm going to open up the early bound generator here, and the settings path I'm going to delete, and I'm going to paste in what was copied automatically to my clipboard. So in that previous tool, it copied it in there. I haven't gone through the work of actually integrating the early bound generator to the Visual Studio Solution Accelerator, but this is all that's required. So I'm going to tab off of that, and that will load all my settings. You can see now we have Pied Piper to XRM entities as a namespace, and I'm going to go ahead and create all, which will go through and create all my early bound entities. While that's going on, I will go ahead and find on disk that, let's see here. I need to find that file in the ctemp. Ctemp. And then we are looking at Pied Piper. Cool. So I'll open that up. So that's what got created. Now at Summit, this whole thing failed because I had like a dash, or I had something wrong in my path, and that was really kind of bad. So, so Mark, I think if you were there for that, you saw that crash and burn a little bit, but we'll see how this goes. All right. Still doing a couple more calls here. All right. One thing I will need to do is I will need to refresh my, there it goes, yeah. So in the background, our entities are being created, and I think they just finished. They just finished. Actions being finished. I think they're finished. I don't see the other command lines going through here. All right, cool. Everything finished. That added some files to my shared project here, so I'm going to reload that. All right, so we are 6 minutes in, and we have my Visual Studio solution all set up. One thing I did notice when I was going through there yesterday is for some reason my entities weren't being added, so I need to go through and add these to my solution, to my shared project. This is a shared project, not used a whole lot, but is very, very useful when dealing with plugins, because it actually allows you to have one set of code checked into your repository that then can be compiled into or sideloaded into all of your projects. So if you've got a solution with 10 plugins in it, and you've got one shared project with your early bound entities in it, this will allow you to go through and be able to share that code amongst all of your entities without having to actually do any IL merging. That's the big benefit here. No IL merging. It just automatically takes that and attempts to compile that in. And I just right-clicked here, and for some reason, it is taking a while for. There it goes. Finally. Okay, this is going to be. I'm not going to make it if my Visual Studio doesn't start working a little faster than this apparently. So once that gets done, we should be good, and I should be able to compile. All righty. All right. So this is just early bound entities. Hopefully nothing fancy there. Unless you don't use early bound entities, then hey, look at that. It took me 5 minutes and I'm done. All right. Plugins, cool. So this is kind of the shared stuff. Anything that I want to have between all of my plugin projects, I have this one shared project, and that way I can use it within all my plugin projects. Here's my plugin project. Here is the test for the plugin project. Here are a couple of shared projects. This is a shared project for the test project as well as this one as well. So why do I have two of these? Because I'm dealing with the entities in a shared project here, it gets compiled as a entity within this DLL here, which means that if I have code that is wanting to work off of any entity for all my tests, I need to have that in a shared project as well, so it references the correct entity. So it's kind of confusing. That's why I wrote the solution accelerator to set these all up. So that's a shared project for that, and then this is the actual an actual shared project for anything that's not in the shared thing that you can use amongst all of your unit test projects. So back in here is my test settings that actually configure what environment I'm pointing to and all that kind of fun stuff. So that is kind of the form and everything. Let's go ahead and get started with a plugin here. So I've got my plugin project. I'm going to add a new plugin. So let's call this, what are we going to call this? Spread COVID? Sure, why not? So I may get blocked for having spread COVID in a video here. We'll see. But okay, so that's up. You know what? Let's make it an actual. We'll add plugin to the end of it. Not that we always need to do that, but I'll do that just for. All right. So we will see that we have a rather blank canvas here, which is always kind of intimidating. So what I have added to my code generation is I have some snippets here. So if I do CRM plugin and tab over, let me zoom in just a little bit. Actually, I see it here. it just goes ahead and spits out some code here. So I'm going to spread COVID. Okay, cool. All righty. I need to import some things, so add those. All right. Want to delete this. And we'll just add my namespace around here. Okay, so this is the plugin base class that I use for all my projects. It handles a lot of stuff for me, but for now we're just going to go through kind of what we need to actually do here. So I'm going to minimize the constructor. Let's see first, what do we want this thing to actually run on? We want it to run on pre-operation of the update. So whenever we actually update a record, we are going to have a percentage chance of spreading COVID, which is always kind of fun, right? So what we will do here is we will first want to, so if I can think through how we want this to work, whenever we actually update the record, we're going to go through a random calculation and potentially assign COVID. So yeah, that's kind of the way this is going to work. So let's go ahead and get our, we'll get, and actually one thing I do want to care about here is if our COVID, I don't want to spread it to them again. So I want to have it early out. So I'll start with that one. So let's go ahead and get our, which means I need to have access to our pre-attributes, or not pre-attributes, our actual images. So let's go ahead and grab that information. So contact, and this is my context. That's really where most of the power is in this plugin stuff. Where I want to get the pre-image, and I'm actually coalesce. Okay. So coalescing, just like in SQL, coalescing is something where you are going to combine something unless it doesn't exist and grab it for something else. So this says, give me everything that's in the target, and if it's not in the target, grab it from the pre-entity and give me this actual contact. So for some reason, we are setting the value in the contact for has COVID. We don't want it to actually go through and lose that in the target. We want to just use that value. So I'm going to set that there. And so if the contact, one thing I've done ahead of time, and I've added this has COVID, is if it has COVID is yes, then we will go ahead and do a trace here to say, COVID exiting. Cool. So just a little message to say we're going to exit, and then we're going to return. Cool. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and let's practice some test-driven development, because that isn't something we always get to do. So I've got my plugin created, which at this point does nothing really. Just it's going to set out a message. And this should have gotten deleted. Let's delete that. And I'm going to create a new class in here. This is my new class. This is going to be my test class. So this is going to be for spread COVID plugin tests. Okay. All right. And again, I'm going to refer to my code generation here. I have a CRM test class. MS test. MS test class using MS tests. Good. Okay, that didn't do a whole lot, but I did add that in there and added in some references. References here are all XYZ when it should be Pied Piper. So Piper wrong. All right, cool. Okay, so we have our test class. Now we need our actual test method. I have a whole video on this on my YouTube channel, as well as I've presented multiple times for the XM unit tests and why I'm doing this. So please check those out if you'd like more information on this. But right now I'm going to do the CRM test method class. And all these things are snippets that I'm just reading over here. So it's not like you have to have all these things memorized. All right, so state being tested. So we wanted to test what we've already written because we're kind of behind already. We actually want to test that we exit if we are not, if we already have COVID. So state being tested, contact already has COVID. Cool. That's the test we want to write, and this is for the, I didn't fix the last name, that's right. Spread COVID plugin. That's the name of the plugin. And then let's fix this as well. This is now spread. Awesome. All right, so this is our little test class here within our actual test method. So it's kind of a silly way of doing it you could think of, but it actually does a lot of power here for what you need to test. So I don't need to have any GUIDs created for this or entities. So I don't need any of these things. That's going to be deleted. So now we just have a single test method. Notice it gives me an iOrganization service. This is already configured automatically for me, and I can configure whether it hits local or in memory. For right now, I'm doing in memory. So let's go through and actually do our little test here. And I am a CRM plugin test snippet, and the name for this thing is contact already has COVID. Oh no, that's the name of the actual test. This is sprite code. Cool. All right. Things we need to add here is we need to add a pre-image. So add with pre-image. So we're going to put in a new contact in here. And this contact is going to have a has COVID. Yes. All right. So that's passing in the comment this pre-image into this. I go through and execute, and at the end of it, so this is kind of where we need to pull some stuff out. So I need to pull out of my service provider. I need to pull out my actual logger. So logger equals service provider dot get service get actually, and then I want to get the tracing service. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here just so I can go through my tests. Save test explorer, and I can go ahead and build this thing so it shows up. Come on. Finish building. I only got what do I have left now? I have like 20 minutes left. Got to get moving here. So the run should be fine, but actually I want to do a debug. All right, it's spinning. All right, let's go ahead and debug it now. Cool. So at this point in time, you can actually step into your plugin and be able to debug your plugin locally, which is if you don't use unit testing, like, how hard was that? I'm from scratch. I'm 20 minutes in, and I've already got that set up, which is awesome. So the thing here that I want to get is what this actual logger is, and this is an actual fake tracing service. So now I can cast this thing to a fake service. Oops, I lost my service back. Fake tracing, fake trace service. Cool. All right, and that's just part of the actual whatever it is, unit testing framework. And in here, I can get a list of all my traces that I've actually traced. So now I can say assert dot is true that this logger, there is any logger in here where the let's see, we can do the actual trace equals. And you may want to have these as constants later on, but we'll do it this way now. This message. So basically, I'm just making sure that we actually put a little message in here. A little message in here. Odds are pretty good that we're actually going to execute what we did. So let's step back. Actually, I think did it actually get cast? Probably need to do one more here. All right, got a logger. Woohoo! All right, came through fine. Our traces here. We have 4 traces here. The start, the method that's actually executing, and then our message is, and we're done. Cool. So so that's good. So if we don't have anything here, that's good. Yeah. All right, so that's a test. Cool. Now we need another test as we actually want to start giving people COVID here. So let's go back here. So let's do a, well, let's say 1 in 6 chance. Does that sound about right? So we can do rand. Random? Is that what it is? Random. 'Cause It's a new, isn't it? New random. So var rand equals new. I gotta remember how to do random. Say that. I think I'm right here. New random. Cool. All right. And then so if rand dot get next. All right. Next, so we're gonna start 1 to 6. All right. Min value is 1. I think we're good there. If it equals 1, then we are going to go ahead and give this person COVID. So let's go ahead and grab that. So actually, I'm going to put up here. So we have this coalesce target with preemptive, but it's not the target. So if we want to actually update the target, we're going to need the target as well. Context dot get target. And there's a contact. Boom, done. All right. So now target. Good. It'll be yes. Cool. All right. And all right, so we have a little plugin here. Cool. Let's go back and do our little unit for that. So we'll do another test method here. And this is on update, on contact update. Should sometimes give COVID. We don't want it to always work. So this is saying, hey, once and every 6 times we update it, let's go ahead and give it COVID here. We still don't need these things, but I'm going to comment them out this time. Okay, so now we have our plugin test here. Again, I'm going to copy what I have up here for now, and then we'll just go from there. Okay. So we don't need a pre-image here. We don't need a target. We need a target. That's it. With target, but the target can be empty. So let's just do a new contact. All right. I don't think we need anything else. Cool. Now we need a way to actually go through and test this thing is going to give COVID, but we want to do once every 6 times, which is kind of interesting, right? So we'll need to actually run this a few times and get an average of that. So let us go through and do that logic. Let's see here. I want this to tell me if it has COVID or not, and then return that, and I want to call it a loop. So for now, let us refactor this into method. Okay, COVID. All right, so gave COVID, and I'm actually going to return a Boolean so we can do that. All right, so it's going to go through here, and I need to get the target out. So let's get the target. Var target equals new contact. All right, so far, hopefully I'm not going crazy on anybody here. And feel free to, oh, sorry, microphone is working. Just remembered, let me see if I can plug it in. Oh, okay, all right, I was just checking the chat there. So we have the target here, and then if actually return target dot has COVID equals the yes value. Okay, so if we have actually updated it, then that means we gave COVID. So let's do a loop here for I equals 0. I less than 100, we'll do 100 times. I plus plus. Look through here, and let's keep track of 0 count plus equals about. This is true. Actually, let's make this simpler. Let's just make this an int. And then it doesn't matter, it's the same logic. Make a bool. All right, if it's Boolean, then we are going to give it a 1, else we'll give it a 0. It's not complicated. Cool. All right, so when the count's done, we want to assert that we have a certain percentage here. So assert that is true, that the what is it, math dot we want to do absolute value of let's see, count. So we have 50, so it's going to be count divided by 100. I guess it's a percentage. We want that the percentage to be within 10%. Let's say that. So count divided by 100 gives us a percentage. If we subtract that by 0.15, let's see, what's a 6? 6 is 0.166, isn't it? Let's do our calculator just to make sure. It's been a while since I dealt with fractions. 1 divided by 6, yeah, 1.66. Okay, cool. I'm smarter than I look. All right, so taking that percentage, subtracting by that, and that should be, I gotta think here. This is our percentage. I want to be within that. So I want this to be minus that should be 10%. That's what we want. Let's put a breakpoint in there because I'm not entirely sure at this point in time. Well, I mean, just to be a decimal there. Decimal. Oh, here we go. All right. I like making decimals when they're doubles. I guess I could have used doubles there. But anyway, yeah, if you don't do that, it actually, yeah, let's remove that and see what happens here, because that'll. So let's run that test. And then if that works, we'll go ahead and push it out and we'll call that done, but we'll add some. Okay, so we had 14 out of 100. So if I do 14 out of 100, answer is 0 because it's doing it, rounding it to an int. So that's why I'm making them all decimals. Okay, so now if I do that, all right, 0.002. So it was very close to that amount, and that's less than 10%. So that should assert to true. Haha. Cool. All right. So we got our tests. Whenever we're updating it, around a sixth of the time, it will do that. So let's go ahead and deploy that plugin. So plugin registration, update. Oh, I don't want to update. That's bad. I want to actually register. Come on, LeBar. It's like I haven't done this before. Let's go find that plugin, which is under, that's my test case, COVID sucks. Pied Piper, where's that at? There it is, Pied Piper. Plugin, bin, debug, there's the Pied Piper, cool. All right, we'll register that. Cool. And so now we got to find the Pied Piper down here. Oh, not what I wanted to push. New step. And this all could have been done with, even if you wanted to combine the, some other tools to actually automatically do this, but I'm just going to do it this way for now. So this is an update of the contact. And it's going to be anything that anytime updates I want to run, calling user. I always make this a system user. People always say, oh, it's disabled. No, that's the name of it. It's not actually like disabled. Pre-operation, we want it to be synchronous. Spreads COVID. Cool. And the other thing we need to add is a pre-image. And pre-image. Right. Attributes. We want to add the cool. And actually, I'm going to add one more just in case we get to it. I'm looking at the time. I think we might be able to. So I want to also add the account. All right, cool. All right, so we have that there. Now we can go into our. Oh, do I not even have? Yeah, I have it open. Here it is. Cool. Cool. All right, so we have our little environment that's been updated to. Let's go ahead and update the record and see if we get some that have some values here. So I think I have has code right there. Cool. So I'm going to update his job title here. And let's say that. Did I get it? Survey says no. Did he get it? Survey says no. Aha. All right. So, okay, you got it. So our plugin is working. It did update. Yay. And just about 36 minutes. Woohoo. So, yeah. So now I've accomplished what we're trying to do. Let's see if we can make it a little more interesting. Everyone knows the COVID rates in the United States are abysmal. So let's go ahead and add in some fun logic to this just to make it a little more complicated. So in the plugin itself, let's also go ahead and check the. We'll join to the account. So we're going to say the account equals the context dot get first. Again. All right. And we are going to get the account for this contact. So this would be the contact. Cool. And something's not like me. Yep. Good. Oh, I need a good here. And then let's be nice here and get just the actual thing we need. So A goes to, and this is just a little way of querying stuff within the dlb.xrm libraries that I've referenced in NuGet. So we are going to get the country. I just want country. Cool. It's the account. If the account dot I just want country. Okay. Sure. So now if this happens, let's say that rather than being 1 in 6, our chances are 50%. So var x max equals 2, and then down here max. And cool. All right, so that's good. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. We've gone and grabbed the actual account for this. Oh, we probably need to also do this too. If the if it actually has a account here, contact dot account ID not equal. Cool. All right, it's gonna go through that logic. And you could probably put that in another method if you want to go and get the actual random max here. But okay, so that's done. Boom. Let's go ahead and add a test for that. Make sure that is all working. Actually, let's go ahead and update this one since. So we have the test for. Make this. This is the test for the country. So let's add in the country here because we're going to need that string country. Part of our make it part of a pre-image. Goes new contact. Oh, we also need an account as well. Actually, no, we'll go up here. Okay, so we need an account. And here's where I'm going to use the link pad. Creating GUIDs in creating GUIDs is horrible in Visual Studio. So I have this little GUID generator. It creates me a little GUID here. So that's all that is. And that's included in this right here, this link pad GUID generator thing. It can be even fancier if you have more than one account. You can do needing a test. You could do that if you've got multiple entities. You run through and it'll organize it, saying, okay, well, you've got an account A, account B, and you've got contact. So it does lots of kind of nice OCD issues like that. So I'm going to need an account to query, and I need that account to be associated to a contact. So I do need a contact. I'll grab that contact. So in here, by default, this is going to go through and create these things, but I need to have that association with it. So with, do I need one? Actually, no, I don't need one. I don't need one. I lied. Because we're actually passing that in. We don't need the actual contact to be associated. So that's going to create the account. But we do want the account. We want the actual account. We don't want two accounts. That's right. We want one that's the country, one's not the country. I'm sorry, I'm talking in my head. We want one to be a USA country. We want one not to be USA. So let's grab both of these here. We have say, and then the other one. Reduce Britain. Heck, let's just do France. Why not? Who cares? So now, IDs.accounts. Actually, IDs. I should have copied this too. My own OCD purposes, not that I have to. All right, cool. Say .entity .address one country equals USA. Boom. And then this one is going to equal France. Cool. All right, so that'll create those in the database. We can go query those. And now this thing should be actually passing in our, not our country, but our account. Okay. And then our contact, let's see, account. Here's the fun part, because only contact dot geological fields dot. I've got 3 minutes. Yikes! I don't think I'll have time to finish this. Account ID equals the account. Cool. And the preimage is passed in with preimage. Preimage. Cool. And now, yep. So now we can actually go through and figure out if this is going to happen more often or not happen. So if we do IDs.accounts.USA and we do this, it should be not this, but it should be half. Actually, there, because I want to do. And then if we do it again for France, you back up this amount here. Cool. All right. Who knows? Let's give the test. If that works, we'll call it good. We'll see. I'm probably not going to work. It's probably going to error. Oh, I know it's going to error because I know what it's errored in. My one thing that is not early bound is going to bite me right here. This needs to be dot. See, any reference. All right, here's the part with IDs. So this is failing here because it's unable to cast the account to an entity reference. This is kind of fun part here. I update it here. Okay. And then I don't need to update it here because those are these IDs entity that actually automatically will go back and based on what you're asking for, it'll implicitly get cast to the type that you want. So, all right, this is the last minute. If it works, oh, it failed. Something didn't work. So, all right, we ran out of time. We can look at it later, I guess. But yeah, so that's the test. I got through the first part of it. I didn't quite get to the last part of it. I wanted to do the extra bonus stuff. So I guess I accomplished it. And we wanted to keep it at 45 minutes. So I'm going to have to end it there. So thanks everyone that joined. Do you have any questions? Phil,
I was going to say, you've got 5 minutes. We can go till 10 too.
5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, then let's get to work here. Let's get to work. Let's see what's going on here. So let's do this as not running. The true just fail. Okay, so the true just fail. That's all. So let's see what the true there is. All right. So count to 100. It failed 100% of the time. That's not good. Let's go back here. And so we did max of 1 to 2. Shouldn't that give us lots of ones? 1. All right, they gave us all those, so it needs to be 0. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we are off there. So let's go ahead and fix that. So max in this case should be, because we're starting, let's just change this to 0. And then this one will change to 0. All right, so did that finish? Did that fix it? Let's rerun that. All right. And if that works, then yay. Haha, cool. All right. We are done. We did it. It all worked out. I got everything in. Everything I wanted to get in. Let me we'll go ahead and actually let's just for fun. Let's go through and update all these things just to see what happens when we do them all in bulk. So if I go through and I touch every single one of these things, and this won't have that account logic in here, but yeah, let's go through and update every single one of these things. Edit. We'll make them all president. Or not. It isn't an election year, or it was. All right. All right, there we go. Yeah, just a percentage of them contracted. Interesting. Cool. All right. Yeah. If you have a question, feel free to unmute and post. We've gone through everything. We've created our little plugin here. We've created a couple of unit tests. I got 2 unit tests, not just 1, 2. And have gone through and created a plugin that does all this kind of weird logic. Not that we want to do that anyway, but yeah. Even goes through and queries the actual account. We set up the account in the actual test itself. Do that. Thanks for the applause, Power Maverick. I love that. Yeah, and we got it done in 45 minutes. 43 minutes. Actually, no, 48. Yeah, less than 40. I can't do it. 42 minutes. Who's counting? 42 minutes.
Fantastic. Thanks, Daryl. And if everybody would like to come off mute and just give Daryl a round of applause, please. Thank you.
You need to take like a bow or something.
Thank you so much. And obviously, if anyone has got any questions, nobody's posted anything or said anything, so I'll assume that they're all in stunned silence.
I'm guessing it's going to be rewatch the video and pause and go like a quarter of the speed probably to go through all that stuff, because fly right through that. But yeah, hopefully me talking explained it. And it's nice to also show the areas that I mess up, just because it happens. We all mess up, and how do you figure that out? Yep. So.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, so we have 3 sessions at 1:30, so you've got a bit of time to go and grab yourself something to eat and drink now. We've got Power BI reports, 6.5 steps required to guarantee data migration failure, and low-code automated UI testing for model-driven apps, and they're all at 1:30. if you go back to the agenda, you can just click on the links through to those. And also to let you know, the session recording will be posted on the d365ud.com and YouTube sites, probably in the next few days. And thank you very much, everybody.